Hello, Nitro fans. Racing 393. Part 10, probably part 10 of my ACME Condor Nitro rebuild and trying to turn this into a rally car. It's been a while, as in actual physical distance between the last recording and this one. The car has been sat on my shelf ready to do, and I was waiting for a few bits and pieces. So they finally turned up actually. So I was waiting for a Bodyshell, and the delay on the Bodyshell was the window masks, which isn't a real issue. You know, I could have had the Bodyshell without the window masks. I would have changed them myself, but made them myself. God, words come out and I don't know what. It's the wrong word, isn't it? Anyway, no script. I should name my channel No Script Channel. Anyway, the problem with chassis is the footprint isn't, scaled. So you buy a body shell, well, says anything that covers the wheels, and it has a wheelbase of X amount, 190, 226, 250. There's the mini. I think what's the MO5? Can't remember. 140. I don't know. Anyway, there's some set wheelbases for each typical style of chassis. Now the problem is when you get buggy chassis, they're just a footprint because the buggy with the buggy chassis, the footprint is unique. So it's an X amount long and it's the width. Now, before I go any further, I think the width is going to be a bit of an issue here. The wheelbase on this particular chassis, the Condor, is 270 millimeters, and you measure that wheelbase from axle, so the wheel nut center to the wheel nut center. That's your wheelbase. Most of the time, when you go onto any website, it will tell you what wheelbase the Bodyshell is. Upon lots of searching, L and L models do Bodyshells. They're made by a different company. I can't remember. 270 millimeters wheelbase, which I thought perfect because it will fit. The wheel arches will actually, I mean, you can change them a little bit when you cut them, but in all essence, will fit. The issue is the width. Now, I think these wheels and the chassis will, and the wheels especially, they'll stick out half of the wheel, maybe, I don't know, past the wheel arches, which isn't good. Now, I haven't done any research at the time of recording, but I'm going to ask this question out loud. Maybe by the time you see the video, I would have come up with an answer. I might not have done. Can you buy add-on aftermarket, what we call wheel arch extensions or spats in the UK? So a lot of rally cars, for example, in real life, they have add-on bodywork to cover the wheel arches because the wheels stick out. Now, I'm not sure whether that's going to be the same case in a kit, in a model. I haven't seen them. I'm certainly not skilled enough to make them myself. But what options have I got? And do people do them? I don't know. So that is something I'm asking out loud. I'm going to do some research anyway. Right, so we're about to take this chassis. Well, the chassis is not here in front of me. The chassis is down in the shed. So I'm going to hop down.
Just wondering if I could still hop. No!
Into the shed and cut the body shell out to the best I can and sit it on top of the chassis. And then we'll find out how far out it is and whether or not it can be an achievable process. Now, we're going to hop down to the shed.
Just wondering if I could still hop.
And offer up the body shell to the chassis. We'll cut the wheel arches out and put it in situ so that it's as square as it can be. Now, I'm not going to tell you what body shell I've bought. Not yet, not at this point. But yeah, I don't even think the body posts are on this chassis. I don't think so. But we're going to cut the body shell out and retrofit it to see how far out it is. So without further ado, I'm going to hop on down there. Hello, yeah, so it's Future Me Intro 2, part of the same one. This video is completed, but it isn't as complete as I wanted it to be, so I'll just let you know that. I'll explain more as the video goes on. It just didn't quite pan out as expected, so enjoy what there is of the video. Right, here we are. Yeah, put that there for a minute. Back onto the Condor build. Body shell I purchased. Now, you're not going to see it very clear here, but I'll put it near there, is here. Now, I might have to just move things a minute. So there's the shell. Now that is a Peugeot, what, 405, I think. And this is the wing. It's got to be cut out. It doesn't look like anything at the moment. In fact, I can't even see the wing in there. Heaven knows what it's supposed to look like. Anyway, there's the shell. You can see it's a bit wider, and the wheelbase I think should fit. So I'll put the body shell to one side. So this all intents and purposes might go on there. I think the wheels might stick out a little bit. I'm not going to know that until I cut it. So looking at it, the wheel arches line up, so I haven't got to mess around with that. I think they're probably going to stick out sort of like just under a third of the tyre might stick out past these arches. I don't know, which means I could actually put like little, might be quite an easy fix. Actually, it won't be an easy fix, but anyway, I'm gonna cut these out now so we can get it so it fits nearly right. I haven't got any body posts yet, so let's do the cutout. So that's retrofitted. The wheel arches are kind of trimmed; they're not perfect. The body shell is sitting way too low, but you can see. I'm going to move the camera in a minute. The wheels do stick out a tread width. I don't know. Might be alright. We'll have to see. But it looks alright. I'm going to move the camera. There's still trimming to be done, loads. But it fits, from a buggy perspective, quite well. You can see how much it's sticking out a little bit more that side. It's just where it's not sitting perfectly square. But it can see it's sort of sticking that much out, and that side, sort of there and there. It's not quite sitting central as I kick my dog. solid sky. Yeah, so what do you think? It's going to sit a bit higher than that. Problem is the suspension's going to be hitting the wheel arches, so I've got to get it sitting higher. That's when it's going, you know, if it was compressed after a jump or something, it kind of would be there. But it will sit slightly higher. It can actually fit those sliding, you know, typical Schumacher type body mounts, which they will sit on them. I have to get some new nuts and bolts for there. I know you can't see it through the body shell, but and there they sit quite nicely. There, the wing will go on the back. The back obviously needs trimming to a point. I don't really want it all that much plastic or Lexan coming out. But it fits in there nicely with a nice sort of air vent here at the front and perhaps right at the back. So put one there for the engine. We'll put a nice little hole there for the exhaust. But yeah, not bad. Quite pleased with that actually. So I'm gonna need to get some. I think I've got some engine body mounts. I think. I'm not sure, but so far so good. I'll come back when I've got something else, a bit more progress to show you. Okay, it's taken quite a while, I have to say, to get to here at this point. It's not finished, and it still won't be finished, but I've got a hole to drill in the front here. That's only a temporary hole, just to see how it fits. It won't be the finished product. I need a setup with 2 fixing points on there. I'm gonna probably move, not this camera, but I've got another camera which I can move to show you a little bit of a closer up view. But you can see it's magnetic back and body pin front. Yeah, it's taken hours to get to here because I'm sort of trying to make a square block fit a round hole, if I'm honest. I'm just going to drill a hole and try and get the body shell fitted level, and then I'll come back and show you a close-up. Is not done, as I said, but it's kind of on there. You can see there's loads of things to do yet, but it's certainly not a easy task. You have to ignore the trimming that needs doing on the wheel arches, etc. The back is magnetic. The front is body pin. I'm going to put it on the deck to see how it sits. What do you reckon? It clearly wants fettering there, doesn't it? Fettling. But it does fit. Just. I just need to come up with a solution to fit the body shell on more securely. I'm not sure magnets will be good enough, if I'm honest. There's a temporary fix at the front, although it's actually better than what the magnets are, so I don't quite know what to do yet. Bearing in mind the magnets are on the wrong side of the shell, they're on the outside, they should be on the inside, stuck on the inside. But yeah, let's try and round to the camera so you can see it a bit better. Obviously there's a wing there to go on. Slide it across a little bit, it sort of slides in between the magnets, if you like, and this obviously needs to be trimmed. Right, there's the back. I think that this wishbone here, it sticks, so
and that is the front. Got to bear in mind, trying to get a shell to fit this footprint is almost impossible. It needs a hole there cut for the exhaust. That's not a problem. I think it'll be alright. Once I find a way to fit it on a bit easier, it's going to be a bit of a bitch to start. You've got to start it, like pull start it maybe, and then put this on. But yeah, what do you reckon then? So it's a Peugeot 405. I have no idea. I've no idea what this wing is. I think it goes on. I think it's that way round. So it's got to be cut. So it ends up somehow on there. There's no fitting with it. It won't be this shape, obviously. You can see that, it's moving around a bit. So it probably goes on that way round. I'll have to figure something out on there. I can see the indentation here. So we'll get that cut out at some point, but it's not urgent. Right, I'm going to move the camera, not this one. I've got a different camera now. This is a much better camera, hopefully you can hear me, see a bit better. I think I might have zoomed in a little bit too much there. Let me just unzoom. There you go, so I've unzoomed it a little bit. Yeah. This is going to be a bit of a longer video to make because I've got to try and get this fitted. Let me get another camera. Back on the handheld camera, so I apologise for that, but this is a closer up view. That rear suspension arm sticks, so that will need to be addressed. So the front's only like a single post. I've got to remember this does really crap focus. So that's a single post, so that's not, although it's more sturdy than the rear. The rear is magnets, but the rear does sort of move within itself. You can sort of move that because they're on the one, but you get my kind of drift. Well, that is all got to be trimmed. There's like a valance that comes up like that and down, so I haven't done that yet. It's looking like it's sitting a bit high, but remember the suspension does go, up when you set it down on the ground, but it all needs to be like trimmed off here, the edges, and it probably wants a bit more of a trim. Maybe this side's not too bad, but the other side, especially that wheel arch, just definitely wants sorting out. That one might not be too bad. Might want a little bit here. The thing is, you always get a problem when trying to retrofit something that's not meant to fit. It's much harder than trying to fit a body shell that's designed for that chassis. But, once it's on there, it'll be alright. Something that you won't be able to buy, which is kind of what I like to aim for. Typical Peugeot front end. You can just make that out. I'll have to get some. There's no decals with this either at all, so yeah, it won't need any extra wheel arch extensions. It will just stick out a little bit. That won't be the end of the world. It's not going to hurt it. It just sticks out, which isn't. I suppose it could do with a little bit of flares on here on the edge, but I don't know how I'm going to do that. But yeah, I don't know whether I should end the video here, so I've got an extra video of this fitment, and then my next video will be when it's fitted properly, which I'll just come back to the next part of a fitted shell. It's going to take too long otherwise. I don't know when it will be done. But yeah, anyway, that'll do for now. And I'll do an outro so you know where we're standing with it. So apologies for the camera, but it is, well, one going flat everything's going flat. But okay, I'll see you in a bit with the outro.
Well, that's it. That's the end of the video. As I said at the beginning, it didn't quite pan out as expected. I was hoping to get the body shell fitted properly in this video, and that wasn't the case. It was much harder than I was expecting it to be. I think I might have made a reference to Apollo 13, a square peg into a round hole. I think I might have just bought the wrong stuff. Plus, this, buggy kits, buggy nitros are not designed to have body mounting posts on them. It just isn't that way. I have got a 3D printer, which I haven't assembled. That could have been an option because I could have made some brackets up. That still can be an option. But that's the end of the video. So what are we up to? So we've got the shell on. It's not on perfectly, but it does fit. So this body shell and this chassis combo works okay. It's the wheelbase which is probably more important. The width, as I showed you in the video, the wheels do stick out a little bit. I don't appear to need like wheel arch extensions. It probably wouldn't go amiss if I could put like a little edge on there, but I haven't found any, and I have been looking. So I think for now I'll leave it as it is. Camera issue. We swapped and changed cameras around in that film, so I have purchased a proper, well, it's not proper, it's a cheap Chinese shit, but it sits as a video cam, digital camera, filming what I do. It's a lot easier. It's on a tripod. I don't need to keep messing around with it. It does point to where I need it to point. It seems to sound okay. Let me know what you think. I think the sound is still a little bit tinny, but I don't really know what to do about that because it does say you can use an external mic, which I did try, but I couldn't hear myself. So I don't know whether it's a volume setting somewhere. I haven't found that. As silly as that might sound, I'll have to have another look at it. But so we swapped and changed the camera, I think for the better. I was still using my non-GoPro sports camera, and I haven't got the GoPro working consistently. I'll still probably use it for certain things, but we seem to have crossed a bridge now for the not too distant future filming. Maybe going further forward, I might need to upgrade it even more, but it is only a cheap Chinese, one. I won't go into detail on that, there's no point. Right, so that's the end of that video. The next, did I say part 10? I can't even remember how many parts this is. I'm not even going to mention. I did say I don't want it to be part 26. Or was it on another video? I've got two of these like build videos going on now, but I think for the next video I'm gonna do some work off camera and get that body shell fitted as good as I want it, and then we can think about a colour scheme. I've got no idea what sponsorship decals to put on there yet. I don't know. I haven't thought that far ahead. So I think getting it fitted, and maybe try and get the car just running. It does run with the body shell then on there. That could be an option, and then we'll paint it. Stop yawning. I've got the chassis, so I've got another chassis for this that's been powder coated. I'm not going to mess around changing the chassis just yet, but that will be a thing in the not too distant future. So let me know what you think. Has things improved? Sound and image? Is it the lighting? Is it better? Let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you for the next part sooner rather than later, once I've done a bit of fettling with that shell. Hope you enjoyed it, and bye for now.